Hi, welcome or welcome back if you've been here before. If you don't know me, you probably don't. So, I'm Elijani, I'm a tattoo artist and an illustrator. This time I just wanted to talk about art block because I kind of have mixed feelings about art block. Because sometimes I feel like there is art block, but sometimes there isn't. As if I'm telling myself that I'm having an art block, but maybe that's just what I told myself. Right now, I'm in a really creative mode, so I really wanted to talk about this, even though right now, specifically, I'm not going through an art block. But when I do have an art block, it's usually this sense of, am I really an artist? Should I really be doing this? Sometimes even I think, is this really my career? Is this really something I should be doing? Because when you have this art block, you feel like nothing you make is good enough. It's always feeling like there's something missing, and you are trying to search it with every piece in your body, but you just can't find it because you're in panic. Because you're in an art block. Sometimes I feel like I make myself have an art block. I think a lot of people do. I don't think I'm alone in this. Basically, what I mean by making myself have an art block is I don't do specifically good piece of art, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, this is shit, and I'm just critiquing myself and harshly critiquing, I'd say, that this is not good enough. I didn't do anything good. So I just push myself into this art block and kind of hating doing art. I think I've done this to myself a million times. I just don't appreciate the artwork that I do. So all I can see in my artwork is that it should be critiqued and that it's not on the level that I want it to be. At the end, I just need to chill. Like, what is wrong with you? Art is supposed to be enjoyed. You're supposed to actually enjoy drawing. Yeah, obviously, you can have joy every single time you put a pencil to paper, but it should be most of the time enjoyed. You should actually want to draw, not because you have to. So, yeah, the missing piece is that I need to chill. I judge myself too hard. Sometimes I don't just sit there and just do artwork. Every single art piece I do, I critique it. I personally think I'm good at critiquing my own artwork. My personal opinion of me. I forget to actually enjoy because I create, I guess, to critique, and then I end up in an art block because there's nothing ever good enough for me. With that, life starts to seem meh, just sense of emptiness. I just create something, but it's empty. There's nothing to it, no emotion, nothing. It's as if I'm in some competition with myself, with me having all of this judgment about my own work. It's actually putting a lot of pressure on myself because I need to create better. I need to create the best artwork, and I'm not there yet, so I end up pressuring myself so much that I just sit there and I want to work on art, but I just can't. Because I guess I somehow want to become an AI. I don't know. And make these 10-second pieces of art out of nothing, like instantly. But that's not how it works. I'm not a robot, obviously, because AI is just logical part. It doesn't have emotion that people have. And sometimes I forget about that. Sometimes I forget to put emotion into my own work. I actually love what I do. So, so I end up trying to make my artwork logical. I don't want to always have my artwork to be logical. I just want to do something, just create. But for some reason, there always needs to be a logic, at least until now. I still sometimes forget that I can just create. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. It's art. I think at least the experience for me with art block is that it looks like I'm grabbing onto straws. Like everything is just going elsewhere. Creativity and everything is just leaving me. So I'm just grabbing onto it for my dear life. But that's not what I should do. Or anybody should do. This moment where you all of a sudden in this miserable moment of art block, you have this tiny idea of what you could draw or paint or whatever, and you're just grabbing onto it with your dear life, and you end up forcing things, and it doesn't turn out great because you're trying to force this idea however you could possibly do it and make it into an art piece. By personally, I accidentally complicate things when I do this grabbing onto straws. I have this faint idea and I just try to make it as complicated as possible because I guess I just want to work on it longer because of the feeling that I have art to work on. I'm actually working on something. So I complicate things and I never actually finished those pieces of art because I didn't like them, because I overcomplicated them, or I overestimated my skills. And that I didn't let myself kind of go with that flow of creativity. I tried to make it as logical as possible. And plus, there's involved comparing myself to other artists. That sometimes is annoying. Even though there are a lot of artists who inspire me, sometimes I get way too inspired by them and I want to create stuff exactly like they do, and that does not work for me. I just get overwhelmed because I know I don't have the skill yet, or skill in general. I don't have their skill. Let's just say that. I think this video in general is just me rambling. At least I hope you understand what I'm talking about, because this is just my stream of consciousness. So yeah, grabbing onto straws. Literally just grabbing onto any idea that you possibly can from Pinterest, any kind of inspiration of art, just so you have the feeling that you have something to work on, even if you don't enjoy it. And literally, there comes the moment where I do more art in hopes that I will get rid of the art block. I just keep doing something. Maybe all of a sudden I have this inspiration and find my style, even though I kind of do have a style, but at the same time I don't think I do have a style. But yeah, if you don't feel like doing art when you're in an art block, maybe you just should take a break. You don't have to make art every day for the rest of your life. You can take a day off or two to just look around and see the world. and maybe even get actually inspired, not try to be the AI robot and take every single art piece that you can find on the internet and in hopes that you could make your own style out of it. But actually, it's much more than that. There's a lot of work, and you might as well won't find your style as soon as you think you would. And even if you would find your style, you would think, is this really my style? I don't think I've found my style, even if you would find your style. Because you're evolving. You're actually evolving and learning new things, so your style changes. I don't think there's your specific style that you will do for the rest of your life. Don't be like me and don't do even more art when you clearly don't want to do it. Take a break. Nobody's gonna kill you for that because you will take a break from art. I've done that plenty of times. I've even taken a break for a year or two from art because I went through really long art block, I think. I just really despised art at some point because I actually did compare myself to everybody, to every artist that's on like my skill levels in art school when I went there, and even recently comparing yourself to artists on the internet. They can give you a lot of inspiration, but at the same time, with boundaries. Get inspired with boundaries. Don't try to be like that person and create art like that person, because it's hard. It's not you. You will find your own way. Recently I learned that doing less is actually more. I used to draw every day. Yes, I used to draw every day and try to make more and more art and like the finished work, not like practicing or anything, like actually new pieces almost every day. And I didn't see any kind of quality in them. It was like mass production of art. It had nothing to them. It was just drawing or painting. And so now I make less art, but if I do draw, I just practice a bit or maybe just start a sketch. I don't try to create even one piece a week. I don't pressure myself onto it. I don't even have art goals because I don't want them. It's too much pressure for me. I just want to enjoy art. So remember, less is more. You don't need to create perfect pieces every day. If you feel like creating a new piece, just create it in its own time. You don't need to have a full-on, 12-piece portfolio by the end of the week. I don't think I could do that. I mean, I might could do that, but I think it would end in me not doing art ever again. I would hate it. Or if I would do 12 pieces in 1 week, I think I would leave the style and just completely do different styles, so the portfolio would be useless because I wouldn't do that style ever again. Creating like a lot of art, even in one month, is actually really stressful. And you end up also not stressing over the work being perfect, but you also stress over what you're not doing. The things that you haven't done or haven't learned. Because I personally think you don't learn really in the process of pumping out art non-stop. You don't have the time to learn. You just make art for making art. You're not really doing it for yourself. You might be also doing it for others, not really for yourself. It's like you should have the time to actually sit and critique your own work. Even though I can also say that being good at self-critique is not always good. Sometimes you forget that it's art isn't always about improving. You can also create art where you just do it for yourself, for the fun of it. Sometimes it's just not supposed to be critiqued. What I can recommend to people is just sometimes forget about art for a day, especially if you feel overwhelmed and kind of hate art at this point and do it every day. Just forget about art for a day. Just leave it be. Do something else. Maybe do some other hobby that you have. Sometimes I don't do art for like a week, and honestly, it helps because it takes off the pressure and you kind of get excited to get back to doing art because sometimes I have some inspiration throughout the week and ideas flowing into my head of what I want to do, and I sketch them in my notebook. Getting off your art practice, art sessions, getting away from art can be good for you. In general, stressing about your art, hating your art, all of these negative emotions, being overwhelmed by a blank piece of page, no matter what the size is, even if it's like this big. It means you need a break, in my opinion at least. One thing that has helped me is letting go. I've been learning to let go for the past month, I would say. It means what I mean by letting go is letting go of expectations for what you want from your art. Letting go of you wanting to be perfect. Letting go of what might others think of your artwork. Letting go of all of these negative thoughts about your artwork. Even if you have negative thoughts, you should just observe them. You shouldn't be trying to get them away, like please stop. No, you should observe them and just be like, oh, I have this weird emotion towards my artwork or myself. Okay, well, cool. Moving on. Like something along the lines. You shouldn't just try to avoid your negative emotions because you just can't avoid them. They will come back even stronger sometimes. Another thing that actually helps is getting offline. Some people don't like this. Even if I tell people that in my real life, get offline if you want to be a bit more inspired, they don't like that. But it's true. You don't need to get offline forever. You can just get offline for the day and just observe your surroundings. Because with being online you just become numb to everything and blind, I would say. While you're offline, you can do some journaling, maybe even sketching, freehand, just sketching something. It doesn't matter what you sketch. Like stopping consuming for a day is beneficial in general. It's not only beneficial for your artwork, but for your mental health as well. But once you've been offline for a bit, you can just create limits for yourself of how much you consume, and instead of consuming, you do something else. I don't know, read a book or something. Pick up a book, child, or do anything else. It's also for your own good. I personally have limited the amount I consume every day, so I don't consume TikTok anymore. I do have the app on my phone. I still do. I post there, but I don't consume it. I think the only thing I consume, like a lot, is YouTube, but I consume more like educational content. I mean, I'm still guilty of consuming some stupid things, but I consume less of unnecessary things. that I think are unnecessary for me. Usually when I'm offline for a bit, sometimes I just sit down and I just observe my thoughts and just draw. I don't try to think of a better line to draw or what I should put there and plan all of the artwork in my head. I just let myself draw. Just put my hand on a paper with a pencil in it and just let myself draw. What comes out of it, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Just do this automatic drawing like people do automatic writing. That you can also do that. You might as well have some ideas coming through when you do the automatic writing. Another thing you can do actually is experimenting. I sometimes do that. Sometimes I'm scared to do that. Doing something other way around. Say instead of starting like you always start from the bottom of your page, and however you start, but doing from the other side of the page. Just changing up things. So just so you have some change in your life. So you're not used to this one specific way of doing things and experimenting with mediums. Like I really want to try pottery. Same goes for I really want to trying these wire sculptures. Really want to try to make those because I haven't made them. I haven't made them in like years since art school, which was like years ago. Try things that you just haven't tried before. If all you've been doing is painting with gouache or acrylic, I don't know, try oil painting. Even with the cheap oil paints, you don't need to buy the whole set of everything that you need for oil paints, or trying watercolor for a change. You just develop more skills. It helps a lot. I think one of the most important things is trusting your gut. If you like what you did and somebody else doesn't, they can go away. They can go away. If you find it what you're doing great and you love it, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. If you want to create this different art style, just go for it. Just trust your gut and go for it. I've recently also tried drawing my dreams. Even though I'm not really great at visualizing, I do, however, like get inspired by my dreams. Let's say I'm just in some weird place and I see this painting I've never seen before. I'm gonna get inspired by it, or some environment that I'm in. Sometimes I get inspired by that, or what I see in general. There can be so many interesting things coming from your dreams. I recommend trying to draw from your dreams. This is where dream journal comes really in place. It can be useful because you can actually just go back, and once you've written your dreams down, you can go back and just get inspired from them, from what you saw there in your dream or what you felt. That's like interesting to me, art from dreams. Another important thing is do art for you. Don't do for anybody else. Don't do for popularity or for other people who like it. Do it for yourself. You're your own best support. So if you want to do a specific style of art, do it. Even if it's not popular. And one other point for inspiration is looking at other types of art, like music, literature, anything else, because visual art is not the only art. So yeah, when you have art block, please take care of yourself. Please do. It's very important. And when you have the art block, don't make it worse for yourself. Listen to your gut, what it tells you. If it tells you, I want to go outside, um, make snow angels, do it. If your gut tells you to take a break, take a break. You don't have to take a break for forever, but just take a break. If you're exhausted and you just want to do something else instead of trying to push yourself through this artwork that you might hate while you're in an art block, just do something else. Even if art is your job, it's okay to even take a 2 hour break, just a tiny bit of a break, because pushing yourself through, I think, doesn't work. I personally don't like when other artists say just push through it, or recommend pushing through a moment where you really despise doing art. I take a break if I hate it. It helps me much more than pushing through, because pushing through won't make me love art more. I will only become more exhausted with doing it. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stuck through this long ramble and my thoughts. And I'll see you next time.